Hello and welcome to the Stover Farm Channel. I'm so glad to have you here with me, and happy Friday. It's almost the weekend. I don't know about you, but this was a very stressful week. Earlier in the week, my youngest got really sick. Fortunately, she's okay, but as a parent, that just really tugs at you and just wears you out. And then I'm in this weird phase of life where I'm kind of becoming the caretaker of my parents. Have you been there before? Do you know what I'm talking about? It isn't easy. We're getting through it, but it causes stress. And I've found that when I get stressed, I don't always feel the most creative. So I'm getting through one video for the week. I hope you enjoy it. I want to talk pickup trucks because I do like pickup trucks. And well, to combat the stress, we're going to play some video games. So these are my top 5 pickup trucks currently in my mod folder as of March 2024. They're all platform and some Mac and PC only, but I'm going to show them to you right now. Let's get into the game. And where else do you go to talk about pickup trucks but the high school football field parking lot? And I've got all 5 of them right down here. And this is in really no particular order. These are my 5 favorite, as of right now, pickup trucks that you can get in the game. 4 of them are PC only. 1 of them is all platform. And I'll be clear, I have a couple of requirements for stuff like this. First and foremost, you've got to be able to get them easily and free. They need to be available to everyone. And I like to see minimal errors in my logs for these trucks. And I can say honestly that these 5 on my system, playing on my game, we're in Meadowlands, perform extremely well. Enough that I keep them in all of my mod folders and I use them in all of my games. So here they are. Let's jump into it. Again, no particular order. And this is not going to be some detailed review going through every single spec that's available on these trucks. I want you to know where you can find them, how to download them, and then just listen to them, see how they perform. I think sound and gameplay is so important. Just know that mostly all of these trucks, they have bed options, they have hitch options, they have wheel options, they have just a plethora of options available to you. They are all highly customizable. So here we go. On the far right, let's jump into the 1994. This is the Ford F-Series by DTG616. This is an older one. I've actually had this for a while, and I believe the modder has had it out for a while. And why do I like it? Well, I love the arrow nose trucks of this era. I think they're really, really nice. There's a couple of brick-nosed mods out there. This one, for me, performs extremely well, and it also has a properly looking and functioning interior. I cannot tell you how many mods you get downloaded that are converted mods, which I think this one might be because he's got a lot of credits here. Mr. Boomnastic, that's Chandler Buch, McLean Modding, Toro Customs, and Expendables modding, excuse me. But it's converted nicely, and it's extremely high quality. Again, for me, I really like it. The sound might be a little harsh, especially on the engine sounds, but you get over it, and I've got this one equipped with the 7.3 power stroke in it. Yeah, it's a nice truck. It really is. And what I want to point out here while I'm driving is so many vehicles that get converted. I'm going to jump in, I'm going to turn on my super strength, and we're going to take a look underneath the truck. A lot of vehicles, they get modded, they get converted. This one, it's not perfect, but there's actually stuff under here. There's an engine, there's a drivetrain, there's an exhaust, there's a suspension, there are differentials. It's really, really nice to see that, whereas some mods, you just get a blank floor, and that I don't know. It's not great. So again, this is the 1994 Ford F-Series by DTG616. It's for PC only, and it's in my mod folder, and I use it all the time. All right, up next, this is an old mod. I've had this probably since like launching Farm Sim when it came out. This is the Elk Mountain Modding RAM, the Offroad. It's officially called the Elk Mountain Modding Offroad RAM. It is for PC only. It's 123 megabytes. It's available on the Elk Mountain Modding Facebook page. Why do I like this? Sounds great. This truck also performs extremely well. It has not been updated, I think, since it was released, although it might have had a few updates, and it just continues to perform. Now, it's got a unique driving characteristic, and that is it's a bit loosey-goosey in the rear, but that makes it fun. I mean, it slides around. It's not just like stuck to the ground when you drive it. It actually, throws the rear end around a little bit. I think it just makes for a very unique driving experience. It sounds good. Again, it's got the details to it. It doesn't have as many options available when you go in to buy it in the store. Basically, you get a pickup truck or you get like an off-road back for it. But it does have a plow mount, and again, it performs very, very well. I like it. High detail. You can see the differentials. You can see the suspension. It's a great truck. Again, this is the Elk Mountain Modding Off-Road Ram. All you Ram owners out there, you're probably going to hate on me because I don't know what version this is. It's a 3rd gen. This might be a 4th gen. Correct me, help me out. I know it's not a 2nd gen. I don't think it's a 3rd gen. I think it's a 4th gen, but I, again, could be wrong. It's a good truck. Go get it if you've got a Mac or PC. All right, we've gone Ford to Dodge. Let's go back to Ford. This is the Northwest Mods and Edits 2020 Ford Super Duty version 2. Now, I'm going to admit, when I had the first version of this, it didn't work well for me on my system. Again, who knows why? Farm Sim is weird. It does weird things. The mod probably was perfect, but my system it didn't like. The second version of this truck, completely different story. It runs great. No errors. The sounds are great. The driving is great. The options are all everything from base trims up through limiteds, and you're gonna get mad at me because I don't know all the trim levels off the top of my head. Just know it's really, really good. It's also extremely expensive in the store. I think it follows kind of the real price factors of some of these trucks of being like over $100,000. It is a manual, though. I do not believe you can get it in automatic, and that's okay. Different vehicles in this game perform differently as manuals and automatics. I think there's only been a few vehicles that I have said really, really closely resemble the real-life counterparts. That's because, again, it's not a driving simulator at all. But there are some modders that have done a really nice job of making the shift patterns correct, and this is actually one of them as a manual. I don't know how it would perform as an automatic truck, but it performs extremely well as a manual. Again, look at those suspension undulations. I think that's what's really important and what really, for me, sets a mod different or apart from something else. We come out and take a look at this. Like, this is really, really well done. Look at the suspension. Look at the nuts and bolts. They're all properly connected. You can look at the tread pattern. You can look at the front differential. If we were to climb all the way under it, you'd see the differential, you'd see the drive shaft. You can see how the suspension settles as it's going up and over things, and it's got articulation to it. Just very, very nicely done, and a great mod. It's also a little heavy, I think, on the file size. I didn't write it down, but I'll put it in the notes or the overlay that's on the screen so you can see that it is the second version, and it is available, again, for Mac or PC. It is the 2020 Ford Super Duty by Northwest Mods and Edits. One you should have in your mod folder if you can. Alright, so I don't get hammered by everyone in the comments, I do want to show you an all-platform mod. Probably one of the best all-platform pickup trucks you can get. I know it got some hate when it came out. This is Agro Tonho Silverado, or Lizard Silverado 3500. He's had an update come out, and he now has a two-door version of this truck. It is all-platform, and here's why I love it. A, it's extremely detailed. It's only 46 megabytes, so a much smaller sized mod than some of the others that are here. So again, looking at this is 46 megabytes, whereas that Ford F-Series, the 94 that I drove, was 132 megabytes. Big difference. I know the other trucks you wouldn't be able to use on console, so it doesn't really take up, we're not talking slot counts. This is a very nicely done and highly detailed pickup truck for all platforms. Why did it get so much hate? Well, it's running the GM 6.6 gas motor. And yes, you heard me say that correctly. Not the Duramax. It is the most recent version of what would be the heavy-duty GM gasser motor. It used to be 6-liter, the 6-liter LQ9, I believe. This is a 6.6-liter version of the gasoline direct-injected small block. Makes a little over 400 horsepower, like 401 horsepower, but there's no diesel option, and I think that really kind of angered some people. Here's why it doesn't bother me as I understeer into the guardrail. I kind of like that there's some options like this. Diesel's great and all, but, you know, in real life, maybe you don't have all diesel vehicles. One of your pickup trucks is a gasser. I can think of some logical reasons why you would do it that way. Maybe there will be updates to provide a diesel option of this, but again, for what it is, an all-platform Chevrolet or Lizard that really, I mean, it's the closest thing you can get on a console that has proper branding. Extremely high detail. I mean, again, look at the suspension, as I thought that was a ditch that I could drive into. But you saw the Super Duty right before this. We're now in this all-platform truck, and if I drive off the road here, you're going to see very similar suspension articulation as that Ford. So we'll get it out here in a field, and you can start to see the suspension as it actually is hitting those bumps, going up and down. Again, for an all-platform mod, I think that's pretty good. It does have the tendency to want to understeer, and it's interesting because the single-wheel rear-wheel version likes to oversteer, which, again, it's, I think, kind of fun. It just different characteristics for the different styles and versions of the trucks. But again, this is the Agro Tonho Lizard or Chevrolet 3500, available for all platforms on the in-game Mod Hub. And last but not least, this would be Chandler Buch's 1981 to 1987 GM square body. This is PC only, and the file size is pretty hefty on this guy, 300 megabytes. But, hold on, there is a but. There's so many options on this truck. You've got Chevrolet, you've got GMC, you've got an inline six, a 454, a diesel, you've got two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, you've got all these different chassis configurations. I've also got a video out there. If you configure this thing a certain way, it does some pretty insane burnouts and power slides. It is a ton of fun, and who doesn't love a GM square body? So nice. I've got this one decked out as the GMC with the 454 and the C30 option. So that would be the big, like, this would be the equivalent to the 3500 in modern times. And it's just a gorgeous truck. Sounds great, drives great. It has all those wonderful characteristics that I talked about, like a rock on the mud flaps. Again, tons and tons of options, and I'll flip it over and I'll show you underneath, because again, I think this is really important when you look at these vehicles. So much detail. This is detail that, you know, I'm not certain a lot of people get credit for, because this is what's facing the road. You don't see it. Look at the spare tire on that. Look at the detail on that. You would usually never see this type of detail, but the modder took the time to add it, and I think that's really, really impressive. It does add to probably the polygon count and the file size, but it is really, really nice, and it also performs extremely well. I've seen some vehicles, some mods by modders, that are super high, you know, quality, high, probably like oversized on their files, and they full of errors. This one is not full of errors, and is a very, very nice truck. I highly recommend you check it out. Again, this is the Rentalman Buch's 1981 to 1987 GM square body. In this particular configuration, I got the 454 V8 and a 4-speed automatic. She is a running son of a gun, I'll tell you that right now. If you want to get this truck, it's available on the Rentalman Buch's itch.io channel, and it's available for anyone with the link. And there you have it. These are my top 5 favorite pickup trucks currently in the game as of March 2024. These are in my mod folder, and I use them in all of my maps. As always with a game like this, there's going to be new things that come out. There's going to be updated versions of these mods potentially in the future. So, you know, they might not always be available. A modder could take them down in the future. You don't know. But again, as of, March 2024, these are the 4 that I absolutely love. And I recommend you go and find them as well. And I think that's the first time I've done a mod showcase of, like the top 5 mods that are in my mod folder. I'd love to hear from you. What are your favorite pickup trucks? Where do you find mods? How do you go about knowing the mods you're downloading and using are safe, high-performing, high-quality mods? Without modders and mods, this game is nothing. Well, it's not nothing, but you get the idea. It's not as fun as it currently is. Well, that'll do it for today. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for checking out the channel, and we'll see you next time right here on the farm with the Stovers.